We need to realize that hard work is what will get you to success. There will be a point in which you can optimize and work smarter, not harder, but you have to put the hard work in to get to that level before you can optimize like that. I didn't get here because I'm the smartest woman in the room. I am not, but I will outwork anyone that I come in contact with.
I am so thrilled to invite Jenny Garms to our Linking Independent Women podcast.
My name is Jenny Garms. First and foremost, I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, a daughter, and I also just happen to be a global strategic pursuit leader on a Big Four consultancy at Adobe.
Starting out in my career as a single mom, sales was the accelerator for me. And to make sure that I could put food on the table was that I had to learn quickly and made some big bets.
Sales is a highly underrated, high-value skill. I would encourage more women to build a career around their life, not the other way around.
Are there any tips or tricks that you feel like would be valuable for other working moms and moms to know? Or is there anything that you tell her when mom's away?
It's hard, okay? I'm not going to act like my tips are going to help anyone because it is so hard. And I honestly think
I just want to say I am so thrilled to invite Jenny Garms to our Linking Independent Women podcast. I have known her for a few years now, working with her at Adobe, and to say that she's inspiring is an understatement. Jenny shows up most authentically than anyone else I really have ever met in my career. And I worked with her on a couple of projects, including a global women's leadership program. And to say that Jenny is a rock star is also an understatement. So I'm inspired by you, Jenny. You truly, not only do you show up authentically, but you have empowered other women to do the same. And I'm just so excited to share you with the world. So without further ado, could you introduce yourself?
Yes, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. And if I could have you with me all the time, that would be amazing. I feel like my tears are already welling up and we're just getting started. So thanks for that wonderful intro. Again, I would take you anywhere if I could. I really appreciate it.
We could just be a personal cheerleader.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm so pumped and excited to follow your journey. I know that this is going to be a dialogue, but I just want to say that you have inspired so many within Adobe, including myself. I love seeing you relaunch Linking Independent Women. It is going to be incredibly impactful for women, not only in Indianapolis, but nationwide. And I'm just so thrilled and excited to follow your journey. You are making an impact, not just for your women locally, but for those nationwide. And, we all appreciate you and the efforts that you make on a daily basis to better everything for women.
Oh, I'm going to take you with me too, Jenny.
So I'll go ahead and do like the high level 30,000 foot intro, but my name is Jenny Garms. First and foremost, I'm a mom, a wife, a friend, a daughter, and I also just happen to be a global strategic pursuit leader on a Big Four consultancy at Adobe. I come from a very small town in southern Illinois. It's a refinery town. Our high school mascot was the Roxana Shells, named after Shell Oil Refinery, which which subsidized the school and was literally connected to our football field. And that is when I learned at a very early age that you need to be successful because, unfortunately, rich people and conglomerates will take advantage of poor people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's interesting. I did not know that. Were there health risks and health issues? And was it just,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a fun fact. They are still the Shells today. Shout out Roxana Shells. and all the kids that are still in that environment. But yes, there have been class action lawsuits against the refinery, who I shall not name. It's a different owner now.
Mm.
But there have been health issues in that area. As you can imagine, it's like a real life Aaron Brockovich story.
Just
But
watched that
I,
the other day
yes.
with my youngest, and he had never seen it, and he was floored. But yes, that's tracking.
Yes. And it's just, I mention that only because it is so important for me and probably for you that women are successful. It's not just for you. If you have children, like
Hmm.
it's important that you understand these things and you understand the world in which we live in, and it caters to the wealthy, unfortunately. And you need to be a part of that group in order to ensure that your family is taken care of. And I hope in this conversation today, there's like really three themes I want to hit on.
Okay.
And that's one is your circumstances are written for you, but character is written by you. So I will talk about some circumstances that have been written for me along the way, some that I had to even like remember last night because I don't get hung up on those things.
Yeah.
I get to choose my destiny. I get to choose how I react to things. The second, and a theme in my story, is I would encourage more women to build a career around their life, not the other way around, building a life around their job. Instead, do it in reverse. And then the last thing is sales is a highly underrated, high value skill
Hmm.
that unfortunately not enough women have or focus on.
Yeah.
And we should really make that part of the conversation too.
I love that. I wholeheartedly believe in that sentiment. Just starting out in my career as a single mom, sales was the accelerator for me, and to make sure that
Absolutely.
my I could put food on the table was that I had to learn quickly and made some big bets early on. But I love what you said about building your life, building your career around your life. As a single mom, I didn't always do that. And so I had to learn the hard way. My kids are older now, but I had to learn the hard way that, and I've learned learning from people like you. Like it's okay to, you know, build your life in a way that is authentic and you can be yourself at work. I think I grew up in a I'm a little bit older. I think I grew my career in a way, and maybe it was out of fear too. Um, I couldn't always say no. I always felt like I couldn't say no. But anyway, I've admired that about you, your authenticity, the way you show up, as your highest self, your truest self at work too, is inspiring. But
Well, thank you. But I'd love to know, because I want this again to be a dialogue. When you said sales was the accelerator for you, do you feel like you were able to apply those skills outside of work that also benefited you?
absolutely. Because I think women in general, they don't, they're not taught negotiating skills. They're
Mhm.
not taught, I had to go through sales training to get the dollar amount head trash out of my head. Like
Yes.
when I was selling, I was like, oh, is this too much? Should I discount it? What, I had to learn the skills of, um, there's a value exchange. It's not a scary number that you're proposing that they invest,
Right.
right? And so I think that was one of it. I grew up pretty poor, and we didn't talk about money, we didn't talk about funds, we didn't talk
Totally.
about investing, we didn't talk about any of that. So
Foreign
sales really
language.
was the accelerator for me to learn on the fly all the things that I didn't know.
It's so true.
Hmm.
It's so true. And I wish more women would talk about this and leverage these skills. I actually looked up a stat that a 2025 study from Carnegie Mellon found that women who don't negotiate their first salary leave on average of a $1.2 million on the table over the course of their career. And I believe that. I think a lot of women, we get a job offer and we're just expected to be thankful.
Hmm.
But that is not how you are going to make it. And these skills are not just transferable in negotiating your salary and ultimately your value and what you're worth, but it's also, great skills for pivoting your career,
Hmm.
for negotiating your subscriptions, your medical bills,
Everything.
everything. It is such a great skill. And honestly, I also think it feeds into communication and public speaking. That's
Hmm.
like an area I feel like I'm working on right now. I tend to be a rambler, but I think those two are
About that.
intertwined together.
I would say no. Um, but I appreciate working on skills.
Always working on something for
Yeah,
every student.
yeah, right, right. And I think also, once I learned, and maybe, I'd like to learn more about your circumstances and how you shifted that mindset, because how do you get out of that, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how do you, like, was there a time in your life where somebody showed you the way, or was it pure, like, innate grit from Jenny to ensure that she could, move forward and move past?
Yeah, I'm not really sure, but I will credit, I would never change anything.
Hmm.
And I do credit my Midwest upbringing in that refinery town and being surrounded by hardworking people. My dad worked nights. I do think that plays a lot into it because once you get at a certain level, you're like, you don't know what hard work is.
Right.
I feel like what I do is actually very easy. I get to work in the comfort of my home, and I don't mean it easy in the way that it probably sounds, but I'm using more of my mind and
Hmm.
I'm sitting in my comfy chair inside my comfy house.
Hmm.
I do travel, but like this is actual hard work is happening in those types of towns. And I think that plays a lot into my DNA and chemical makeup. And I will also say that, I didn't get here because I'm the smartest woman in the room. Like, I am not. But I will outwork anyone that I come in contact with.
Hmm.
And I do think we've been sold this story of work life balance
Hmm.
or this cush life. Every time you go on social media,
Hmm.
you're inundated with these creators that seem to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's a lie. Like a very few, like
Hmm.
probably 5%, 6% of people actually make $200,000 or more as an individual.
Hmm.
And we need to realize that hard work is what will get you to success.
Right.
There will be a point in which you can optimize and work smarter, not harder. But you
Hmm.
have to put the hard work in to get to that level before you can optimize like that.
Right. Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. And there are trade-offs, there are sacrifices
Yes.
within that.
Mhm.
And knowing that you're going to have to make a few sacrifices. For me, it
Absolutely.
was um, playing the long game, making sure that my children knew that this was a upfront sacrifice for a long-term gain. And having adult children now, they know that it paid off, right?
How did you I would love to know because your children are older. My daughter is 4, going to be 5 at the end of June. And
Mhm.
for those that may be listening, like how did you describe that? How did you say that to your kids at a young age? Like how did you describe mom being gone or mom being on her computer?
Yeah.
How did you describe that to your children? I think that would be helpful.
Yeah, for me it was, I worked my way up through a startup community in Indianapolis. I knew if I could just, on the front end, at that time in sales, we did cold calling. I cold called my way to like director of sales. And
Amazing.
what it really took was, look, guys, this is just temporary. It's just going to be, you make it a short time frame so that you don't get stuck at your computer and then, hours go by, right? So you start to build boundaries within yourself to say, okay, I'm just going to stay at this startup for a year because a year here is 10 years anywhere else. And that going in, like, like you're going to be grinding. But they were young, and I tried to bring them into the fold with anything I possibly could. Like I brought them into the office sometimes. If we had like company events, they would come too. It was I guess, a little partnership. Like we were like,
Mhm.
we're in this together, guys.
I
Like we're
love that.
building our futures here. And and as a person who grew up in a family where they were very open, we had an open dialogue about things. I was just, this is what we have to do. And they it felt very like we grew up together, to be honest, because I was a young mom, and you just kind of say, this is what we're gonna do. And I just remember them knowing major details, like what deal I was working on
I love that.
and all
I
of
think
that.
that's so
But I
good.
have to say, um, there was a lot of guilt, right? There was a lot of guilt, and I was fortunate to have my parents help out quite a bit. I was very like supporting me, bringing me dinners when I needed help, like not able to get that done or whatever. But there were a lot of times in which I felt a lot of guilt, and I kept questioning myself. But at the end of the day, I would look at them and I would say, you're worth it. You are
Yeah.
worth this. And I raised three boys and a girl, and you know what I mean? Like you just transparently. Yes.
Yes, but I love that you shared that because I think it's important to acknowledge we don't all know everything or have our shit together. I think there's this like higher bar with social media of women always looking put together, being a Pinterest mom, also making six figures. Like it feels unstoppable. And I love that you shared how transparent you were and how open you were with your children, that you were growing up together because let's be real, none of us know what we're doing in work and life. We're all figuring it out. And I think that's so important to acknowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. So with you and your daughter, I know you travel. Are there any tips or tricks that you feel like would be valuable for other working moms and moms to know? Or is there anything that you tell her when mom's away?
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard.
Hmm.
Okay. I'm not going to act like my tips are going to help anyone because it is so hard. And I honestly think the most work I do is on myself.
Hmm.
And then I'm also transparent. So I just heard this quote on a Stephen Bartlett Diary of CEO podcast. And Scott Galloway said, the receipts of love is grief, or grief is essentially the receipt of love.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, that doesn't just apply to grief. Honestly, that could be easily applied to mom guilt. And that's how I was applying it in my head is
I love
that how lucky are we to feel guilty because we have this tremendous love.
it. Hmm.
Um, and so I'm not perfect. There are tears. There are times when those tears come from me versus her. But as you said, this is a partnership. We're in this together. I openly talk to her about how I'm doing this for our family, how I'm
Hmm.
doing this for her future. I openly talk about money with her because, to
Hmm.
your point earlier, that wasn't something I grew up with. And that is something that I want to instill in her for multiple reasons. Maybe so she can stay home with her child if she chooses to have one because she was upfront and got out of the gate with investing. But I
Yes.
will say, like, probably simple things is I always get her a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was free or purchased at the airport, I always bring her something home. And honestly, like sh sh the first ripping the band-aid off the first time is the hardest. It
Mm-hmm.
does get better with time. If you infuse positivity into the experience, it will become positive, and it is for her.
I love that. If you infuse positivity in the experience, it will be positive. I love that.
Oh, thanks.
You're very positive, Jenny. I've not been on a call with you or in a meeting where you don't bring the energy. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. Life's too short,
Yeah.
honestly. Like if you're wasting your energy is so precious
Hmm.
and should be protected that it kind of goes back to your circumstances are written for you, but you write your character. You determine how you react to things. And look, life is too short to be anything but positive.
Yeah.
It's not 100% every day, but
Yeah.
it always outweighs the negative, and I think that comes back to my childhood and the
Mm.
experiences that I had.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so with that, you're married, you are married, and tell us a little bit about your partner and how he plays into your three major themes.
Yes. So I would say for any woman listening to this, the most important life decision, but also the most important business decision you will ever make is who you choose to be your partner. So select wisely. And I am so blessed and so grateful that I have this most amazing progressive man that has not once complained that the roles are somewhat switched in our family. He
Mhm.
makes dinner for our family every single night. He is the chef. He's also the neat freak, but I'm learning.
I'm the
and,
same. I'm the same.
and I think it's really important if women are going to be able to progress
Hmm.
in the business world that we have an equal opportunity partner that sees that progression as important, but also looks at our relationship is also a partnership and that one person shouldn't be carrying more of the load than the other.
Hmm.
So I have nothing but amazing things to say about my husband. Shout out Casey. He is the love of my life.
Aw,
He is the love of my daughter's life, and he is a tremendous husband, best friend, and support system.
I love that. And I echo that. It took me a
Yeah.
while to figure that out, but I found my Bruce, right? So,
And
um,
how did you find Bruce? Like for women that are
yeah,
starting over potentially and
yeah,
single moms, like can you share some of that story? Because I would love to know
yeah.
personally how you found Bruce.
Well, so I was doing things very passively, right? I was living my life. I was working. I was doing Linking Indie Women for a very long time,
Mhm.
and so I was just kind of on autopilot. Like, it'll happen. I'll find the love of my life at some point when the time is right and when it's ready and everything. Um, but I was passively on dating apps. So if I matched with somebody, I'd go on a date, ended up, dating some people that weren't good fits um, for either of us, and wasting a lot of time.
Mhm.
And it took a personal trainer to say to me, "You are being very passive about your dating life.
Wow.
If this is important to you, how would you prioritize this differently?" And he was like, "You're kind of like the prey, and they're, going to you. You need to be a lioness."
I love this person. Was this a guy or a
Yeah, it
gal?
was
Like
a guy. It was a guy, and he
it's
was great.
amazing.
Married a
Shout out
20.
to like the male allies out there that speak truth.
Yes, Ryan, wherever you are, you changed my life. But yeah, he was like, "You need to be a lioness. You need to go out there and find and hunt and be."
I
Yes.
love this.
So it changed my mindset completely. And so I was very deliberate. I said, "This is important to me to find a life partner. I want to find a partner and to be in love." So I took some time off of Linking Into Women with other circumstances too, like my mom passing away. But anyway, I was just like, I
That's
want
a
to be
big
deliberate.
deal.
Yeah, I know.
that you just quickly
Well,
move on from? But
it was a time of my life where like a lot of introspection and
yes.
reflection. And so I was like, this is something that's super important to me. And actually, one of the things she said when she passed away was, you deserve to be happy. And
Oh,
so, you know, I kicked myself in gear and said, I'm going to focus on this. And I treated it like a sales funnel.
yeah.
I treated
I
it
love that.
like a sales funnel. I was like, you know what? Weed them out fast. You know, you fail fast, and be very deliberate and write down exactly what you're looking for and treat it like a business,
I love that.
like a strategy. And I did. And yeah,
And how long did it take from you to realize I deserve to be happy?
yeah.
I need to do this differently. I need
Mhm.
to be intentional to finding Bruce. Like, how long was that? Just out of
Six
curiosity.
months.
Wow.
I would say
Girl, you're giving so many people hope right now.
I would say 6 months because it was like, you fail fast. You're like, okay, I'm not going to go on a long lunch date or a long dinner date. I'll have a conversation with you. And if there's anything that you don't check off, I mean, it's just best for both of us.
I think
You
I
know?
think that is so applicable, not just to your personal dating life, but
Mhm.
I feel like we should really unpack that because, like, I am learning, because every day is a learning experience. No one knows everything, but you really have to be intentional, not just about your life, but your career.
Yes.
Like, everything has to be led with intention. And I love your story because I think it illustrates it perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
Shout out to Bruce.
yeah,
We love you.
best. He is the best. Um, yeah. It, yeah, 6 months. And then, you just know because you've gone through all the ones that you know are not going to work. You get to the point where you're training yourself because I've, made some major mistakes. You're training yourself.
Hey, we're all learning.
Yeah,
Every day is a learning experience.
right,
Some
right.
of us have to learn harder than the
Yeah,
others.
yeah. I'm just learn by, never mind doing, I guess. Wrong way. Okay, bringing it back. Okay, so we went through your
But
early
really
days.
quickly, before we move off,
Okay.
is there a template or framework for
Yeah.
those listening? Like when you did that exercise, like was it
Mhm.
just pros and cons? Like walk me through that because I do think that would be helpful for those that are listening.
It really came down to values.
I love
What
that.
do I value? I value family. I value a progressive, open-minded
Mhm.
person. Um, I valued the ability to course correct or uh, look inward. You
Yes.
know, somebody, I mean, if he's not in therapy, he has read some books or, it's just
Is working on himself in
on
some
himself
way.
in some way, open to learning about, you know, him. And then, how he treats the world, you know,
Yes, I love
is he a
that.
giver or taker, you
I
know?
don't feel like enough women look for that, you
And
know?
I was just like, I need somebody who feels like life is a gift and they're bringing, something to the world to make it better. Whether it's like people that you come into contact with, whether it's like your family, whether it's, it's just improving other people's lives. And that to me is the epitome of a giver, right? So Bruce is totally that, all of those things. And yeah, and so I think once you sit through those, like, what do I actually value? I mean, get over the is he balding? Because like I'm in my late 40s. Like, you know what I mean? Like get
So
over the
true.
stupid shit that don't doesn't make really doesn't make a difference. You're just gonna spend the
No,
rest of your life with this person.
exactly. Looks fade.
Yes, yes. Or just like anything that could be, they talk about sometimes like he gave me the ick because of this or that. Like, really, let's talk about values. take it
Yes.
down that way. And then if it
Yes.
works, of course there has to be attraction, but
Absolutely. Of course.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I love this. I'm going to seed a Bruce and Sarah podcast in the future. So I will be listening in.
Mm, I don't know. He likes to do things in the background, so that's kind of fun. Yeah. Um, but anyway, going back to you and number two, do you feel